today's sales environment, the way we communicate by writing is changed. When BlackBerry started, I don't know if any of you had BlackBerries, but when BlackBerry started, what differentiated them from anybody at the time was BBM. And BBM changed the way we did business. Up until the time BlackBerry was launched, there was no sending messages by SMS or WhatsApp or any form of scripting. And that's what they made. They made that common practice to communicate in that format in business. Up until that time, emails were not really common business practice. We were still sending long-winded emails, and that's a whole different topic of conversation. But what BlackBerry didn't do correctly is they didn't realize that they were actually in the business of sending short messages. They thought they were in the phone business, and they lost the whole opportunity. And that's when the other phones overtook them, because they overtook that format of communicating. But the business world has changed the way we write to each other. So, textbooks, sales management and marketing management textbooks are a bit outdated, because they still tell us, you can send a postcard and you can send a this. But in honesty, we send each other emails, and we send each other WhatsApps, and we send each other SMSs. So for me, I want to talk to you about how you send these kind of written messages. First of all, how invasive are they? And second of all, how clear are they? And third of all, how appropriate are they? Who do you communicate with in which format? And how good is your written word? Now, the modern era is, Microsoft corrects your spelling, WhatsApp can correct your English, etc. And people write with smiley faces, and people write with a thumb to say, that's great. Is that really an acceptable business practice? You would know, depending on your customer, if it's acceptable or not. But now we've been talking about cultural differences. We've been talking about age appropriate. We haven't really spoken much about age appropriate. But you will read your customer. You should know your customer. Remember, if your customer is probably a little bit older than 40, they grew up in a different era. They still grew up in a business era where they received business letters, where they were taught to write formally. They didn't get short messages. So they don't want I in a small letter. They want I in a capital letter. They want their words written out. They don't want short messages. And I'm generalizing, because you get people who have adapted. But you've got to be mindful of that. You've got to be mindful that your written message is not seen as spam. You've got to be mindful that your messages are sent at the correct time. Are you allowed to send a WhatsApp to somebody after hours? Are they allowed to send you a WhatsApp or an SMS after hours? So these are all things we have to consider when we're sending written material. Also, we cannot ignore how we write. And we have to still know that writing is a reflection, firstly, on you as the salesperson. It's an extension of you as your brand and your personality and your organization. So if you're going to be sending your customers jokes and political memes, will your organization be happy with that? And if you're sending personal things out, does it reflect on you? So be very mindful of if you're doing it correctly and if you're doing it appropriately. Then, what is and what is not the way that your organization wants it? So an invoice is still a form of written communication, as is a proposal. And it is wise to learn how to write a good proposal. The modern way is not to write long-winded documents. The modern way is to write short and precise documents. But it is wise to learn how to write a good proposal. People like to see in pictures, and technology allows us to bring in lots of pictures, but a lot of people do not know how to write a proper proposal. So it is wise to learn how to write a good proposal. When selling to different types of personalities, there are different types of personality styles that you sell to, and you communicate to these styles in different ways. We've all encountered them. You've got a certain customer that behaves in a specific way, and therefore you treat him in a certain way. So let's try and understand these personality types, or these communication styles is probably the better word to call them. So the first one is called emotive communications. Emotive communicators. Now, emotive communicators are people that, as the word says, they're emotional. They like to keep everybody happy. You as a salesperson, they like to support you. They like you, and they're quite friendly. So these are the guys that become your friends, and you take them to golf, and they all around nice guys. The problem with these type of communicators are they like that to everybody. So as much as it's nice to communicate to them and easy to communicate to them, remember everybody's communicating to them in that style. But it is a way to adapt to emotive communicators. They are friendly, they like to keep everybody happy, they easy to communicate to. Okay. Directive communicators are people that are very hands-on in the business, and they consider every decision thoughtfully. These are the directive guys. So you come in with a proposal and they're going to think about it. They're not going to make a rash decision. You've got to come with facts to them, and they're going to think about it. You're not going to do a proposal and they're going to say yes or no. They're going to go off, think about it, and they're going to make business decisions that they believe are very good for the business. They don't waste time. They're not super friendly. They're not unkind, but they're not the nice guys trying to be your buddy. They are directive, and the word says direct. Okay, the next style of communication is reflective. And these type of guys are quite similar to directive. They control their emotions very strongly. They're not showing warmth very easily. They're very businesslike, and they think everything through, and they're very formal in their dealings. So they're even more strict than the previous type. They're reflective, they think it through. They're formal guys. This is the person you call sir. This is the person you make sure you've got an appointment. You arrive 10 minutes early for the appointment. This is the person that you plan your appointment and you plan your presentation. Not that you're not doing it with the other guys, but he's not, he really is businesslike in every way. So make sure you understand the personality types you're selling to and adjust your communication style accordingly, verbal and written. This person right at the end, that's the serious business guy. Are you going to send him pictures on WhatsApp? No. The emotive person right at the end, can you send him pictures on WhatsApp? Sure. You probably by now know what his hobby is, and you're probably swapping recipes. If he's a cook, you're probably swapping recipes already, and that's appropriate. So understand the different communication styles and be appropriate accordingly. Okay.